The story of the movie Devil's Due begins with a married young couple. Zach was the boy's name, and Samantha was the girl's name. They knew each other since childhood. Samantha had no one in this world. She was all alone. Even she had no family. She thought that her family died in some accident. She grew up in an Elysium home. On the other side, Zach's loved him. He belonged to a rich family and they had high status, because of which he accepts Samantha's happily. After it, they get married happily. Both were happy with their married life, especially Zach's. He buys a camera out of happiness. He dies a camera out of happiness. He tells Samantha's that we'll live a pleasant life and I want to record every pleasant moment on this camera. He tells his perk that we'll be able to flash back our moments with the passage of time. Later, they plan for their honeymoon. The place they decide was the island. Its name was Hispaniola Island. It was a very beautiful place. They are so happy and enjoy themselves a lot there. They were spending their married life happily. Everything was going normal. Then they meet a fortune teller. She reads Sam's palm and starts doing a weird talk. They get amazed because she tells Zad that she was waiting for them for a long time. They get worried and shocked after hearing this and decide to leave this place. But something bad happens here. They were on the way and forget their way. They don't even remember the way to their hotel. They were walking on the way when a taxi driver stops by them and says that I can help you. He was so frank. They get impressed to see his behavior. The car driver says that it's my guess that you people are on honeymoon here, and I want to show you a very beautiful place here. You'll enjoy yourselves there, he says. He says that you won't have to stay there for more than 20 minutes. He says that I won't take charges from you for this. She refuses him because she was so tired and wanted to take a rest. But Zach asks her to take a rest later. He says that we aren't going to stay there for long, as that driver said only 20 minutes. Later we see that the man takes them to a mysterious location. His intentions didn't seem good. It seemed he kidnapped them. After some time, they arrived at a basement, which turned out to be a club. They like that place a lot. They stay there and drink for the whole night there. They get drunk. They were not in their senses. Later, it is seen that some people are taking them somewhere. It is also seen that the people who brought them are doing weird and strange things. They put Sam at a place and draw a circle around him and do strange rituals. They are performing weird rituals. This thing seemed so horrible. Certainly, you would be analyzing the meaning behind this and why they are doing this and why they are doing this. The next morning, when they become intoxicated, they come to their senses. They find themselves in that hotel room where they were. After becoming conscious, it feels like they are tired. They were wondering how they came there. Perhaps that taxi driver brought them here. After this, their honeymoon comes to its completion, and they come back to their house. As they reach home, Sam gets a piece of good news that she is going to become a mother. She was so worried because she didn't want to bring this child for now. She takes tablets for this, but still. She tells Zach. They get really happy. Now Zach takes more care of her because she was going to become the mother of his child. Then we see that everyone was so happy because of this news. Sam observes some marks on her belly after being pregnant, but she doesn't consider it a big deal. They presume it is completely normal in this scenario. As a consequence, they ignore it. The second thing that was happening to Sam is how she's bleeding from her nose. One night Sam was sleeping and Zach wanted to surprise her. He was capturing her from a camera. She wakes up unconsciously and grabs his hand tightly. Seeing this condition of Zach's gets shocked and scared. He was thinking that she's doing this in her sleep. He tries hard to wake her up. These incidents were happening with her, but the most dangerous thing happens to them when they go shopping. After it, Sam was standing in a shopping mall when she sees good quality meat. She goes near it and stares at it. Suddenly, she grabs it and starts eating in front of everyone. She was eating it wildly. It seemed she hasn't eaten anything for many days. Everyone was looking at her strangely doing this, because it seemed bad and abnormal because no one eats raw meat. Eating raw meat meant something else. After some days, we see a strange incident when Zach was with her. They were going in a car and in the parking area. Gets angry. She breaks the windows of all the cars parked there. Perhaps Sam was thinking that this car wasn't good for her. It can prove harmful to her. Zach gets upset after seeing her condition. He takes her to the doctor. He thinks that the reason behind this is her pregnancy. After testing her, he tells him that it's normal. It happens. No need to worry about this, he says. Time passed and Sam's condition was becoming worse. It felt like she had devilish powers because when other pregnant ladies came near her, their whole bodies started to pain. Sam and Zach's go to the church, and Sam meets the father there. As he touches her, his condition starts getting worse. In a few minutes, his mouth and nose start bleeding. He was also feeling severe headaches. After this, that priest is brought to the hospital immediately. Everyone was shocked and they weren't getting how it happened. Zach was also really worried. After this, Zach thinks something. When father's mouth was bleeding, Sam was staring at him strangely. It was so weird. After this, Zach looks at Sam with doubtful eyes. She immediately goes to his room and opens his laptop and sees the footage which he has captured. He opens that footage which he captured in the church. When he was watching it, a strange thing comes which leaves him astonished. This strange thing was the presence of that taxi driver in the church who they met during their honeymoon. He gets shocked after it. Zach falls into deep thinking that if he was chasing them. Later, he opens the footage of his honeymoon. He gradually opens them, and among all of the footage, he finds footage. At last, he finds a video. That video when they were faint. It's clear that when they fainted, they were being carried by others. Whatever happened with them got captured in this video like those rituals and customs which they performed. Now Zach's uncertainty was firmer, and it seems real to him now. He feels that whatever is happening with them isn't normal. He thinks that these circumstances are not normal. Something big is behind this. After it, he falls into deep thinking that what should he do now? Then he calls his friend to his house so that he can observe what's happening with him. But Zach didn't know that situation is out of his control now. Bad luck that happened to him is when he goes outside and comes back to his house. He gets shocked to see that someone has stolen the whole data from his laptop. He gets shocked to see this. They feel that someone is behind them for many days and chasing them continuously. He was walking randomly in worry. He looks at the window. He sees that someone has poured a weird kind of soil on it. He wonders what it meant. He gets afraid of this. He gets afraid of this. He informs the police, pull these stories and don't believe them. Later, he goes to that priest whose condition got worse. He was in serious condition. He says that time isn't far away when many Antichrist will be born. That is Dajjal. He just says this and then keeps quiet. He doesn't explain anything. Zach was so upset and he needed answers to his questions. Because he was unfamiliar with these circumstances and strange changes were taking place in Sam's well. Like when she was at home. She used to the same rituals that was being performed on her. It was a sign that she has lost her senses. They had a birthday party in their home and they received some presents. Someone has given a beautiful knife to Ams as a present. She takes the knife with her and ventures deep into the woods. There she attacks on a variety of dangerous animals. She cuts their meat and eats it. It was confirmed by Isaacs as well that someone was watching over their house. They install CCTV cameras in their whole house so that they may know the man behind this. During this time, he has doubts about a car. That car was frequently parked in front of their house. Later, Zach calls her sister and says, "Let me follow that car to know who's inside." "Take care of Zam till then," he says. After this, he starts chasing that car. After covering some distance, he sees an old house which was closed for many years. He goes inside it and sees that someone has installed the same cameras that are in his house. It means somebody knows that they have cameras inside their house. Now he was assured that someone is really watching over them. He gets scared and runs. He comes back to his house. After coming home, he thinks that I should inform the police. While he was thinking to do so, he hears the loud screaming voices of Sam. He hurried toward him, but something bizarre is occurring. When she screams, all of her starts to flow. It started to feel like a quakes, a really powerful seismic tremor. The whole house was vibrating. He finds his sister after this. Then he sees the dead body of his sister. She was dead now. Because she went to Sam, When she was busy doing her rituals, and Sam killed her, using her magical powers. It is so horrifying to hear, because it isn't normal that the whole house was moving with someone's scream like earthquake tremors. Zax, gaining courage, goes near her in their room. He sees that a circle is drawn here and Sam is standing inside it. It seemed that the baby is going to be born. Zax sees that she is in critical condition. Zax comes forward to help her. As he comes close to her, she throws him up in the air with her magical powers. She cuts his knife with a belt. As her belt gets cut, she falls down. She gets faint, and when she becomes conscious after some time, she comes back to her original state. Seeing her condition, Zax gets scared. He wasn't getting what to do. He runs toward Sam's, but it was too late now because Sam dies. Later the door opens and Am sees that some people have come. Those mysterious people. They bring out the baby from Sam's belly and take him with them. Zack was looking at them, but he was so numb to do anything. He was so worried, and the police come there and arrest him. They blame Zack for everything. Blame comes to him because those mysterious people didn't leave any kind of evidence behind. After it, we see that the taxi driver who took Zax and Sam with him insists another couple on going with him. Because it is difficult to understand, the story is extremely complicated. This world has a variation of people. There is a group that worships the devil. Obviously, they wouldn't be good people. They would have many devilish powers. They come to this world for the birth of children. Their mothers are those who led their lives without their mothers. They prefer those mothers who died maternal death and take their child with them. They have a cult that makes a huge group. They brought up that child in the same way as she is brought up in a family. They nurture her from the youngest to the oldest until she is young and married. They are so powerful, and to trap women like these isn't a difficult task to do for them because they are in huge number. They trapped women with dead mothers and performed rituals on them. Those girls got pregnant in the first ritual. They continue pursuing her until she child is born to that child, where at the point they take her with people. That child is not really the result of a normal human, but of a woman imbued with demonic powers who performs ceremonies. Father also forecasted when a significant number of Dajjal would be born. They are one of their kinds. They have devilish powers and are also known as Antichrist. Women like them have no place. They are only supposed to live till they give birth to that child. They have to live until the baby is born. The devilish people will not leave until they have carried out her child. We can guess here that Sam's mother would have died maternal death like her.